After the events of Antietam, Lincoln finally had enough of McClellan's extra-conservative army management style and replaced him with Ambrose Burnside. And as a result, Lincoln was about to get a textbook example of why you should never fight a fire with a flood. But I'll save my poetic reasoning for the second day of this 2-day grand battle. First up, army changes. With economics filled up, it's time to put points somewhere else. I don't need a 5th Corps, and I tend to be fine with 4 total points in recon, so that leaves medicine and training. And I'm going to focus on medicine. It's true that multi-day battles have a bug that I explained back in Second Bull Run that makes the skill work less than optimally, but I can take that into consideration. And side missions aren't multi-day battles anyway, so this won't come into play on every, or even most, stages. Also, medicine saves both men and money, whereas training is only a money reduction. In the armory, I'll grab every 10-pound ordnance, Trejagar, that I may be mispronouncing, but I don't care, 24-pounder, and 20-pound Parrot. From the skirmish tab, I'll be picking up the scoped Whitworths, and from the cavalry tab, all of the Colt 1855 melee specialist cavalry weapons. Lastly, I'm grabbing all of the CS Richmonds from the infantry tab, as well as all the palmettos. I'm not sure if I'll actually need this many, but I do plan to have 3 large melee brigades come campaign end, and they are all going to need replacements the whole time as well. From the reputation menu, I'll dip into all the points I've been saving by grabbing the CS Richmonds, 24-pound howitzers, and Trejagars. Back in the army screen, I'm going to give the melee weapons to 2 of the 3 cavalry brigades. You'll notice that their icon didn't change, but that's just a display bug. I can fix it by switching corps and back again. I'll also put the new CS Richmond Infantry Sniper Rifle on Infantry Sniper Squads 111 and 112. They're slightly more damaging than the Lorenz, with the same accuracy stat, but the reason I am making the change is the range difference. It may not be huge, but 111 and 112 are going to be placed in a spot on the upcoming map where every extra pixel of range can make a difference. Also, the Snipesomers have reached 3 stars, so let's check their options for their perk point. So, fun fact about these 2 skills. Both are completely reasonable for a division that needs more training, but this is a 3-star brigade. I don't really need more training. And since both skills give a hefty efficiency boost and the exact same spotting bonus, the choice is between 5 firearms or 5 stamina and 10% stealth. As this unit is basically going to be full on all stats but melee, the only real bonus I find meaningful there is the stealth modifier. As such, the scout skill is the one I choose on pretty much all my Snurber snipers. I'm going to refill my army now, including putting Robert Lee in charge of a brigade where his 3-star and maximum experience bar can be put to good use. Be back after a quick fade. So what's to show? Lee is now in charge of one of the frontline pseudo-scrub brigades in 2nd Corps. The Mouse Master will briefly return to his roots leading the 111 sniper team. The other officers have been spread around, and I filled the temporary opening left in the 143 Scurb group, which is a typo I find hilarious enough that I'm going to leave them named this even after they get to be promoted to something else later. Speaking of names, I've renamed the melee team in 1st Corps finally. Also, for this battle, each of the first 3 corps can bring in a full 24 brigades. So I've brought in 2 cannon teams from 2nd Corps into the 1st to be the 3rd close support and 3rd long-range battery, slid one of the mid-range batteries back to 2nd Corps, and filled in the 3 spots of 1st Corps' 3rd Division with the cavalry groups from 4th Corps. I then went to 2nd Corps and created new units out of the spare weaponry I had laying around to bring them up to the same organizational structure as 1st Corps, even if at a lesser training level. 3rd Corps I tried to get to that point with whatever I had laying around, and at the very least I got their numbers up, even if not their gear quality. I've rotated the sniper teams a bit. As amazing as the Snipesomers are, this stage is perfect for training the other 2 groups. So I've placed the 2nd sniper team into 3rd Corps, The 3rd Sniper team into 1st Corps, and the Snipesimmers will be in the 2nd. As a side note, due to the lack of high-tier officers handy, I've taken the generals, colonels, and lieutenant colonels from 3rd Corps infantry and used them in the new cannon and cavalry units I created, so that everyone new can have their first perk right off the bat. This does mean that 3rd Corps has a lot of infantry brigades rocking 2,000 size, but only led by majors, which is a significant penalty to efficiency. But given what 3rd Corps will be doing this stage, that is at least partially intentional. Their low training, for better or worse, should take care of itself over the course of this stage. 4th Corps is still just its small pack of, we'll call them reserves. They will be taking part, however. Lastly, I refilled every brigade's units back to pre-Antietam levels. To the battle. Major General Ambrose Burnside is the new commander of the Army of the Potomac, replacing McClellan. On 11th November 1862, he begins a strategic maneuver to cross the Rappahannock River and advance to Richmond in an attempt to bypass our forces. His plan is bold, but executed very slowly. He decides to cross the river at Fredericksburg, but the necessary pontoon bridges delay too much to arrive? Sure. Giving us precious time to reinforce the area. While the Union engineers try and build the bridges, they are continuously harassed by our sharpshooters, delaying even more the Union Army. After many days, on 11th December 1862, the Union Army is finally able to cross the Rappahannock. On the other side, our whole army awaits entrenched, occupying the heights south of town. This is a 2-day grand battle, but just like Second Bull Run, the first day is really just a small sideshow. However, I'll be putting 3rd Corps in charge of it, and by placing them in this spot, they will also be the corps in position for a rather insane lopsided fight on the middle phases of Day 2. This is intentional. It's training day for them. If the force disparity seems laughable to you, that's only showing you the Union's first day skirmish force. You'll see what they actually have a bit later. Also, a note about the reinforcement box here. This makes it look like you can bring 2 more corps, and everyone from those corps will attend, but that isn't true. The actual reinforcement mechanics this stage are a bit wonky, which you'll see in action come the 2nd day. The Army of the Potomac is preparing to cross the Rappahannock River at Fredericksburg. We destroyed all the existing bridges, but the Federals can use pontoon bridges that their engineers have been constructing for several days. We are delaying their engineers with our snipers, but they are progressing and will soon complete 2 bridges at this section. A few hundred meters away, they construct another bridge. 3 bridges have been built eastwards and allow control of the southern area of the town. The main attack is expected from this side. We defend heavily Prospect Hill. This is a prime target for the Union because it controls the railroad that provides us with supplies and a fast route to Richmond. The hill that secures Telegraph Road has very harsh ground, so probably the Federals will not attempt to attack us here. Mary's Heights oversee the town. We've prepared entrenched positions that can resist any Union assault, if they are desperate enough to attack us here. The stone wall situated south of the town is an extra defensive barrier that can stop the Union infantry from advancing further. Our snipers are harassing the engineers who work day and night to finish the pontoon bridges. Enemy infantry advances. They are determined to secure the town. A very simplistic appetizer to this battle. The Union will be bringing in a few infantry and 1 small cannon right at the start, followed by a few more infantry and another small cannon when the game clock reads 4:49. To counter this, you get to bring 1 unit. I'll let that sink in for a bit. The good news is you do get 3 small skirmish teams assigned to you, and they are equipped with 1855 Springfields, which have about the same effective distance as Lorenz. Whether or not you manage to hold the objective pretty much comes down to how well you've been hammering the Union over previous stages. If they've been heavily hammered, then you may be able to hold out the entire time, all the way up to when the main clock reads 7:30. If not, you are just going to be trying to cause as much damage as possible before yielding the point and letting the stage advance. As far as your tactics, the Union will be sending 1 infantry to the south, 2 will take the north bridges, one of which will be holding in the defensive point here, and the last infantry will go wherever it wants. Once the second wave of Union forces arrive, 1 will stay north, and the other 3 will go wherever they feel like. You want 1 skirmish team at the bottom bridge to deal with the lone Union infantry that is hard-coded to head south, and with any luck, the other 3 units you'll be able to keep north to dogpile anyone who approaches the bridge. But to make sure the north gets the most attention, you have to make sure, at almost no times, can the enemy see the southern group but not anyone on the north. If the only unit the Union can see is the one at the south, that's a near surefire way to cause the 4 floating infantry to all branch that direction. If that ends up happening, you have to be ready to slide your forces south to meet them. The instant the Union get a foothold on this side of the bridge, then your only advantage, the heavy cover of the urban area, is lost and this phase is basically over. Although, fun side note, at any point that the Union can see none of your troops, there's a chance that they will give orders to their entire force to move across the northern bridges. Depending on how their forces are arranged, that may end up meaning the cannons are in front, on the coverless bridge, within firing range of your own defenders. Lastly, given enough attrition, you may end up outnumbering the Union forces at some point. If the hard-coded South Union troops decide to return north, that's your cue to have the Southern skirmish team cross the bridge and see if it can't harass the Union from below. Remember, the skirmish teams aren't actually part of your army, so risking them isn't really a risk, and the chance to get behind the Union cannons is too good to pass up. Oh, and lastly, if you do manage to hold all the way to the hard end at 7:30, you will want to give your supply wagon the order to pull out no later than 700. This is a perfect opportunity to get a second supply wagon opened up for 3rd Corps. Sucks to be them. That said, this entire phase, the skirmish team I have at the north is going to be playing a dancing game. They will never win a firefight with the entrenched Union infantry here, but whether or not I let them get spotted is a matter of which way I want the Union to move their forces. There is a magical pixel where I can let them get spotted, but is not in firing range of the northern entrenched force, but it's really hard to find. It takes me a while to get to it in this replay, but I eventually do, so you guys can see where it is a bit later. I hid the northern force, and here comes the cannons rolling onto the bridge. Sadly, right about the same time, the southern force got spotted, causing the cannons to stop right before they got in range of my large brigade. I mean, I can move my guys up to take a shot, but just a couple more seconds and that battery would have been completely toast. My dancing of the Northern snipers has kept that one Union brigade dancing in the river here, which is amusing, but the reinforcements have just arrived. At this point, I should have made sure to always keep that Northern group in vision to prevent the Union from attempting to go south. Instead, well, you get to watch what actually happened. Bingo! I found the sweet spot for the Northern skirmish team to be spotted, but out of firing range of the entrenched infantry. Sadly, I was just barely too late, and a chunk of the units are heading south. Derp. This probably isn't good. Well, the two skirmish teams held off the two infantry on the bridge, and by completely unintentional luck, the Northern skirmish team angled in such a way that the 3rd Infantry Brigade stopped to fire at it from across the river, taking it out of the big push. Which is good news for everyone but my infantry, who now has to sprint back to where they came from. Don't worry guys, the cardio is good for you. No, 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 no! Crap, I meant to move the southern skirmish team there. Now I have to find that sweet pixel again. In other news, however, Hill was the enemy unit that was hard-coded to head south, and after getting repeatedly smacked, now he appears to have joined the North Group. I can start swinging the southern team to the east to engage the bottom edge of the Union now.
Take cover, men!
Huh. In all the times I've played this, I've never had the infantry give up their entrenched position to charge the bridge before. I mean, not that I mind, but this is very much non-standard. Well, no sense passing this up. Everyone in. Withdraw from the town. Well, that seems a bit unnecessary, but whatever. Our remaining forces that were defending the town have withdrawn to the heights. On December the 12th, the Union crossed the river with a large part of their army, and today they seem to mobilize for an attack. You can see now the actual Union force. Just another reminder of why doing well in battles is important. These numbers could easily have been even, not a 3-2 advantage. So the last day of battle is broken into 4 phases. Phase 1 here, Phase 2 here, Phase 3 expands Phase 2 into here, and Phase 4 encompasses this area. You'll notice there is no overlap in the Phase 1 and 2 battlefields, but that there is an overlap in Phases 3 and 4, and a rather large one at that. This is going to be a major example of unit leaking. Any unit in the overlapping area at the end of a phase will appear the next time that area is involved in a combat. Or, more explicitly, anyone in here at Phase 1 end will end up in Phase 3, and anyone in here at Phase 3 end will end up in Phase 4. This can be used to your advantage if you want to send over forces from one fight to the next. And specifically, given how this stage plays out and our force distribution, I can highly recommend sending some units from the Phase 3 fight over to Phase 4 to assist in the final maneuver. The Left Grand Division, commanded by Major General William B. Franklin and consisting of 2 full corps, appears ready to advance. Nearly 45,000 soldiers are approaching us. Concentrate most of your forces to protect Prospect Hill. Good luck, General. I'll take a save here, which I really should have done during the map overview, not in battle, but, well, thankfully, I didn't need to reload and alter the game AI any, so it didn't matter. Our forces start pre-deployed and all over the place. So, this is Prospect Hill. So many points to go over. Point 1. We have 2 fixed supply depots here that will keep most units in supply all phase. 2 wagons and the generals in these locations are good ideas, and the third wagon can go sit on point number 2, the vision point that is right here on top of the right side supply dump. This thing has a massive vision range. You should have a good view of all of the action for most of the phase from this spot alone. Point 3. So where did I get a third wagon from? From the wonkiness I said that the reinforcements would suffer earlier this video. You'll notice that, for some reason, one brigade of 1st Corps isn't present. I'll just tell you now, it's the 141 melee team. They can take a break, that's fine. However, the 4th Corps reinforcements have apparently decided to join me immediately, rather than filtering in later as, reinforcements. I guess that makes them just forcements then? So the 6 small brigades, general, and 4th Corps supply wagon are all present, which is quite convenient for my vision point sitting needs. Point number 4. It looks like we are in a big forest, and we are, but the front edge of a lot of these woods are actually counted as swamp terrain. When placing your troops, be careful to have them in woods, not marshes. We want to have the Union be the only ones covered in swamp. Point number 5. We have a couple defensive points here, and they are fairly decent stat-wise. But more importantly, between the two of them, they extend a huge distance, meaning that 2 scrub teams can quote-unquote cover a very large area. So I will be making use of them eventually. But first, point number 6, the actual setup. I'll have 2 scrub teams sitting in the woods right next to the defensive points here so that they can take positions when I'm ready. 2 mid-range cannons and 1 close support battery will be with them around this area. 2 more scrub teams will be in positions here, being sure to be in wooded terrain, not the pseudo-tree swamp stuff. They will be supported by a close support battery and the 3 long-range batteries. Note that the cannon fortification here is right at the edge of the woods. That's not going to work for us, so make sure this guy pulls back a bit behind the scrubs proper. As for the rest of the defensive line, 111 Sniper will be here, and 112 Sniper will be here, with the skirmish sniper team in the gap here. Ideally, the Union will send troops down the gap in this direction, where the combination of 2 sniper infantry, with the new longer range CS Richmond guns, the skirmish team, all kinds of cannon batteries, and the horrible movement speed caused by the swamp terrain will result in a mass army slaughter with little impact to our own guys. Next to the 112 sniper team will be the 5th Scrub Brigade, and a mid-range infantry here and here, with the final close support battery backing them up. The mid-range team on the far right will also split a skirmish group to sit in this spot just for that little bit of extra recon at the edge of the vision point's range, as well as being a mobile team to skirt around the edge to get eyes on target if needed. The final mid-range and sniper infantry, along with all 3 cavalry teams, will be sitting off to the left side, where they will make sure no random Union squad tries to pull an end around, maybe get some spotting, and then at the end, being in position to leak into the Phase 3 fight. That's not totally necessary, but I like having options. Oh, and point number 7. The 4th Corps brigades, have them all slide to about here, so that they can do something important. The Union are bringing a ton of troops into this fight. Sadly, while the bridges look like an awesome place to hold them off, there is no way you could reach them in time, even at a full sprint, both because of the distance and because there are several units already in position around this area. For us to completely hose the Union, we need them to go into the kill zone that is in the right side of the swamp. But like many stages, the Union's default behavior is to send a few units in different directions, and then when they locate you, send huge chunks of the rest of their force to those spots. You cannot trust that they will end up in the swamp by themselves, and that's where 4th Corps' mini-scrubs come in. They will rush from their starting spots to this general area, where they are going to run into a force they can't possibly hope to handle. Once there, they will start falling back slowly, trying to keep as many of their 6 units spotted at the same time as possible, while drawing the Union into this area. 4th Corps units are going to be pretty smashed by this, so be sure not to have too tenured of a commander leading any of them. Each time one gets routed, which will happen, try to have another brigade or two nearby for them to run behind, all while falling back as slowly as you can while not breaking contact. Their final destination is the east side woods where your 2 mid-range and 1 sniper infantry are sitting. If you manage to get them to follow you all the way to there, then have 4th Corps just pull all the way to the southeast of the map, and enjoy the fact that the Union Army is now bogged down in a swamp, getting cannoned mercilessly and pummeled with small arms if they try to move anywhere, all while the skirmish sniper team takes shots of opportunity at whoever is at the bottom of the group. Once the Union Army is in position, then I'll have the 2 northern scrub teams take up positions in the defense spots. Also, whenever possible, try to have the mid-range and long-range artillery take out the enemy cannons. This is going to be a very protracted fight. The faster their artillery is removed, the better for our long-term casualty counts. Round 1, fight! Right about now, I realized I had all of 4th Corps break contact. Whoops. Reverse course, gentlemen. Glad to see the Union are back to their old ways of having no idea where to put their cavalry. Why is there a lone battery hanging out over here? Hey, horse dudes, can you check that out? Oh, another cannon. And an infantry. Okay, well, that's why I have my other 2 brigades over here, too. You're up, mid-range team. Another 2 infantry over here. Okay, well the cavalry isn't going to be useful then. If I don't pull off something though, then instead of me leaking troops over a phase, the Union are going to be sending troops instead. For the record, the idea was that the Union force would be over more like here, but this could be worse. As long as they are far enough right that the sniper squad is able to take shots at them, then that means they are all still in the kill box from my large number of cannons. The final cannon batteries are way out there. To reach them, I'm going to need to slide up my long-range batteries a bit. In 30-odd minutes, the phase is going to change. I really need to do something about these forces on the left. At the very least, I don't want their cannons transferring over. When you see the way Phase 3 looks, you'll know why. Just in time. Assault at Mary's Heights. While we fight at the right flank, we've been assaulted at Mary's Heights. Behind the stone wall, we have a large number of cannons defending the hill. The crazy Union advance will cost them. A chicken could not live on that field when we open on it. A quick look at the Stonewall bonus here. Alright, it's time to explain the fighting a fire with the flood analogy from earlier. Specifically, when faced with a problem, no matter how big it is, trying to combat it with an opposite approach that is, by itself, just as bad, is never a good plan. When Lincoln replaced McClellan with Burnside, he wanted someone who would be more aggressive. Burnside planned to give Lincoln what he wanted, no matter what. The plan to cross into Fredericksburg and launch a surprise attack depended entirely on the surprise factor. As the pontoon bridges took way too long to arrive, all elements of surprise were lost. and as the bridges were being built, so too was any advantage of superior tactical positioning. But Burnside figured he was there to be aggressive, and he did have more men, so aggressive he will be. In real life, this battle is agreed by most as the single biggest defeat the Union suffered all war, as despite having just shy of a 2-to-1 advantage in men, they not only lost more than twice the men the CSA did, but also had to conduct a mass retreat, handing the town right back to the Confederates. And it could have been even worse, as Burnside's generals had to actually talk him out of personally leading another charge. Of course, as bad as this was for the Union in real life, since I'm in charge of this fight, we're going to make it even worse. The game's AI is all but hard-coded to perform roughly the same attack in this game as happened in real life, and I'm going to draw it on the screen now. Ready? Yep, you don't have to be a master of strategy to realize why this is a terrible idea. Charging over open fields in the south, mud in the north, crossing rivers while doing so, and into the teeth of a defensive bulwark manned by 10,500 men and cannons is the type of genius maneuver you'd expect from someone in a children's cartoon from the 80s, and yet here we are with the man in charge of the entire Union Army going for just that. Just because we needed even more advantages, the land behind the frontal wall in roughly this area is slightly elevated, so infantry stationed at it can sometimes fire over the wall defenders at anyone who approaches. Also, like the other phase, we have huge static supply dumps here, and a vision point here that will let us see into basically the entire town. Right at the stage start, take the infantry defending the back areas here, and move them up to right behind the walls in spots like this. This will open them up to some splash damage from enemy cannons, but unless they are directly overlapping the guys on the wall, it won't be that bad. Since this is 3rd Corps, and as of right now, 3rd Corps doesn't have any dedicated sniper or mid-range infantry, it doesn't really matter which units are actually in the wall. Though if you are using my setup and really want to min-max, those 2,000-man major-led teams of 4th Division make good choices. Also, press every cannon battery you have up into close support range of the walls. They're using mostly third-rate cannons, and the gain in enemy casualties and battery training will easily offset the loss of a few 6-pounders or Napoleons. Since the Union's attack pattern is almost guaranteed, we want to concentrate our own forces in that area to deal with them. There are 6 infantry brigades in the north that aren't doing anyone any good. Take 3, split off a skirmish team from the northernmost one, and have them move to the main wall area to act as a backup for any brigade that gets hammered. Take the other 3, as well as the cavalry units, and have them press across the river to about here. As for the split-off skirmish team, have them reoccupy the northern corner wall section here so as to maintain control of a vision point. The Union don't actually have vision any farther than about here, and as long as we aren't seen before the main attack commences, the Union won't even bother defending the north edge of town, let alone counter-pushing you. The only worry to these units is a small Union battery here, and any Union cannons sitting in this part of the town. So these guys up here are going to wait until the attack begins in earnest, then we'll head into the town from the north, the infantry leading the charge, as cavalry aren't great in urban settings, and once the town cannons are dealt with, the infantry will spread out to pin the Union in from the north, while the cavalry cross the bridge, drop the northern battery, then run around back in this area looking for any other battery or supply wagon they can find. Before the phase timer is over, you will want the cavalry to move to the bottom right, but staying on that side of the river to prepare for a few reinforcing units during phase 3. Lastly, the sniper squad will take up position here, where they should get plenty of chances to pound the northern edge of Union troops thanks to their long-range Whitworth rifles. And even in the slow speed of a swamp, they should easily be able to stay out of return fire range, or even get spotted at all, if micromanaged well. With them will be the supply wagon, with all the rest of your units being supplied from the dumps, and this wagon only having the default 2,500 supply amount in it, since the main 3rd Corps wagon retreated during day 1, Keeping the sniper team supplied is about all it's good for. Time for a massacre. As is customary for the Union, they've moved one of their cannon batteries in front of everyone else to give us something to shoot at. At this point, I'm just now comprehending the fact that none of the 3rd Corps cannon batteries have long-range guns. In retrospect, 1 or 2 long-range batteries to counterfire the Union guns probably would have been great to have. I wanted the sniper team to chase off the only thing between my northern detachment and the Union's town cannons, but as it turns out, this unit here is largely inside the cover bonus of the urban terrain, so never mind that. Movement through urban terrain is slow, even for infantry. If you are going to have a force head into the town from the north, you need to do it with enough time left to have everyone in position by phase end, at least in hour 15. should have had my cavalry join this charge. Normally, having your own units in a full rout is a terrible thing, but since there is no infantry or cavalry around, my group here should be just fine. They'll regain their heads eventually. Just a reminder, the degree of stupid you are watching the Union do right now is fairly close to what actually happened in the real battle. The only real change is the bold move of the CSA entering the north of town during all this. With the north edge of the Union falling south, I can start swinging the north edge of my own defenses around for an eventual surround. Using the power of hindsight, I can see now that I should have had the northern force press much harder into the town in preparation for the crescendo during Phase 3. Really, all I need is one infantry guarding the pair of northern bridges, and everyone else can be moving to occupy the edge of the urban area right by the Union buttocks. Enemy continues the attack. General, this is a hard fight. Really? And we can still claim victory if we hold at least 2 strategic locations. Mary's Heights must be held at all costs. Telegraph Road must not be weakened because the Union may try to siege that location and cut our army into 2 pieces. The rest of our forces are engaged at our right flank. So the Union managed to have forces in the leaked area of Phase 1, and now they are here come Phase 3. This wasn't the plan. Thankfully, seeing it was coming, I had my 1st Corps Cavalry get around and take out all the cannons that would have shown up, as well as end up in this phase themselves, leaving just the half-dozen infantry and cavalry for me to deal with. With the enemy cannons down, this is actually a good news, bad news situation. The bad news is, with my 2nd Corps now in play, the plan for this stage is to have them sweep around the south side of Fredericksburg to fully surround the Union forces for a total army wipe. But now that 2nd Corps has to spend time dealing with this first, my schedule is going to be really tight. At least, without cannons, they can't siege us back, and I'm sure I know exactly where they're heading anyway, to try and join the Union forces in the north. The good news is, that's a half-dozen fewer units than I'll have to worry about come Phase 4. Like everyone else, 2nd Corps comes pre-deployed. While they are spread along the entire length of the wood's edge, they don't really want to stay there. They all want to get to the north to trap the Union forces in. After dealing with the southeastern reinforcements, of course. I'll be leaving a minimum of defenders along the tree line while moving everyone else to try and engage whoever and wherever they can. Most of 2nd Corps' cannons are at the north here, but they are fairly distant from the fighting. In addition to having the infantry slide around to cut the Union off from below, I'll have the cannons all slide north to join the existing ones in providing much closer range artillery support. Not a chicken could survive, indeed. As for the various groups of cavalry, the Southern cavalry will all group up around the south of the encirclement to prepare for a final minute's mega charge, and the Northern Cavalry Group will prepare to deal with the reinforcing cavalry in conjunction with the infantry in the town. Ideally, I will be able to engage them while they are trying to cross the bridges. No promises, though. Once this battle timer hits 0, the Fredericksburg town proper section of this battle will be done. If I want to eliminate the entire Union force, I have to do it within this time limit. And ideally, I'd like to have some units also back in the leak box to join 1st Corps for the Phase 4 battle as well. If anyone's looking at this and thinking I should send a cavalry unit to grab that large group of supply wagons, cavalry moves way slower in towns than on plains, and that would put them in the line of fire of any remaining cannons. It's not a bad idea, but it's not a free gimme either. Also, I was planning on capturing those wagons towards the end of this phase, though you'll all get to see how that went in about 2 hours and 47 game minutes. Me sending 2 infantry units to cover the bridges was overkill. I should have just sent 1 and had the other team up with the brigade here to melee charge that lone remaining Union infantry out of the town, leaving me with all the good cover. I'll keep that in mind if I ever have to fight in Fredericksburg again for some reason. This is like the absolute dream of anyone who plays tower defense games right here. I miscounted the enemy. I saw the 3rd Cavalry team get routed and thought this front was secure, so I abandoned the bridges and gave the captured wagon the order to retreat this way. Turns out there was a 4th Cavalry. Not a huge issue, but in case anyone was wondering why I reversed my cavalry and sent the Union sandwich shack back into their hands, now you know. At this point, the entire Union force, save one town edge cannon battery, are all clumped together. I'm going to deal with that one cannon and let my artillery pound them with impunity while I get everyone else into position, either at the south edge of town or heading towards the leak zone at the bottom right. If I had been thinking straight, I would have mass selected every cannon I had and given them all orders to fire at the center of that large mass. The collateral damage would have been insane. Instead, they continued to fire at the isolated brigades on the left until I switched their targets to the cannons on the far right. My bad. I really should have begun my final press when the battle timer read 20 minutes left. I waited far too long, and as such, my mass charge didn't reach the enemy force until there was only 3 minutes left on the clock, which wasn't nearly enough time. I'm normally not this absent-minded. I wonder what was distracting me. Confederate right at stake. It appears that not only my lead force, but also the half-dozen captured wagons got pulled over. The fight on the Confederate right continues. During the course of this phase, Union reinforcements will come in from the north, around the area of the road and rails. I'll take 4 of the lead units and go place them on intercept duty. That said, those Union reinforcements are based on what they had left at the end of Phase 3, so they won't really be a threat as long as I don't let them sneak past me. The rest of my leaked force are in a great position to surround the Union, what with the 10 units that used to be over here at the end of Phase 1 having been divided and conquered. I'll arrange to make sure the Union have no escape route, and then let my cannons do some work for several hours. Just gotta make sure I don't wait so long that time expires again. Oh no, not Butterfield's corps. Is he it? Like, is he the entire corps? Stoneman's corps is here too, and he actually brought men with him. Barely. really, this battle is already over. I'll drop into fast forward mode so as to not keep you all waiting. Oh hey, 141 melee showed up, just in time. The northern reinforcements are gone. Time to give those guys some cardio training. Though I'll send one to sit on the objective, just in case. You know, I'm not sure I'm even going to need to finish this off with a melee charge. The entire force might capitulate to cannon fire at this rate. At this point, the undermanned 4th Corps reserves are doing pretty well to keep them pinned in. Let's take some more of my main troops and get in some random marching... well, that's all the Union forces, but apparently it's not all the Union forces? Did someone sneak by? Okay, well, I'm going to split my forces up and have them go all over the map to see if I can find a straggler. It's just more stamina training for me anyway. I'll kick the fast forward up from 3 times speed to 5 times though, because really this is even less exciting than these videos usually are. Oh sure, now the perpetual sound of a melee charge turns off. Well, guess the game must have been continuing to count the remaining Union back in Phase 3. No one else is out here. The Union brought over 55,000 men and lost more than 40,000 of them. I brought just shy of 90,000 and only lost 5.5. Worst loss for the Union all war, indeed. Sort by losses here to see who on my side took the biggest hits. Scrub, 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 not mine, scrub. 221 mid-range took the worst of my main infantry at less than 200 casualties. And after that, an upstart cannon squad. Wow, seriously? Not a single officer casualty? Excuse me, I have some lottery tickets to go buy. Captured tons of 1855 Springfields, Palmettos, Enfields, Parrots, Napoleons, 10-pound ordnance, Harpers, and of course, about 20,000 supply wagons. Really, this war should be over as of right now, but then you all wouldn't have the joy of another 12.5 videos from me. I'll add the 2 points to medicine right now, and then take a save. Don't want to lose this stellar result. I did just save this, right? Yep. Am I really sure? Yep, post-battle is on top. Okay, enough of that. Video complete. Catch you in the next one.